ahead and we can get started by sitting either on that block or a pillow, whatever feels more comfortable. Some people have a different preference, of course, on what feels better, but the goal of finding a seat on something, I know I'm like a broken record, but the goal of taking a seat on either a block or a pillow is just so you can bring your seat just a little bit higher than where your feet land. So it can actually allow your low back to maintain that natural curve that exists rather than starting to round the opposite direction and have to sit like this and maintain that for a few more minutes of time. So it just allows you to sit up a little bit taller, let your chest become a little bit broader across the collarbones. You might even take a breath in to shrug your shoulders up. Awesome. And then as you exhale, let them fall down and back. Notice if you had any tension there, maybe it dissipated on that exhale. And you can let your eyes either become a little bit heavier, your eyelids become heavier, or just flutter the eyes closed, or soften the gaze. And while, of course, you may not be in this like perfect setting where, you know, we're all in a yoga room together, it's quiet, we've got the music, we've got like a nice candle burning, like you're in real life, like you're in it, right? So just become aware of maybe the sounds that you hear because they are there, they exist. And then rather than needing to react to them right away, which is what we are, of course, trained to do, just see if you can like shift your brain to that place where you're just observing. And become aware of the physical sensation of your breath. So just notice as your body starts to expand as you breathe in, nice and slow. Just let it be natural. And then as you exhale, notice what happens. Maybe you find a little more ease in the features of your face, again, in your shoulders. Just noticing, right? Like becoming more aware. That's pretty much, if not the goal, then maybe the byproduct of this practice, whether it's in stillness or in moving. You're just becoming more aware. Maybe of your physical body, maybe even where your thoughts are. Maybe how you're feeling. Just take a breath in. Maybe a slow sigh out as you empty. Do that 2 more times. Breathe all the way in. Slow sigh out. One more like that. In and out. So nice. And then just drop your chin ever so gently towards your chest. To the back of your neck, lengthen. Maybe even this encourages a stretch in between the shoulder blades. Notice it. And then roll your right ear over to the right. Awesome. And then back through center, left ear over to the left. And then continue with that motion on your own, but see if you can move just a little bit slower than you normally would. So you really become aware of all the sensations that exist along the way. Maybe you notice the spot feels a little more tight than the others. Maybe there's a few spots that are holding tension. If you're like me. And then come back to neutral and let's start to lift your chin up towards the sky, lift your face. Find that stretch in the muscles in the front of the throat. And then slowly come back to center. Now look over your right shoulder. Just a different way to stretch. Back through center, look over your left. And back through center. And start to sweep your arms all the way up. Big breath in and release the fingers overhead. Flip your palms up. And then one more time, look up towards your hands. Awesome. Now keep that clasp of your hands and bring them in front of your face, straight forward. And like you were pressing your palms forward, keep doing that, but then start to round your upper back, draw your chin to your chest and almost lean away from your hands. And then you'll sit back up, reach your hands up and overhead. As you exhale, twist over to the right, opposite hand to opposite knee. Just on the exhale, and then inhale, rise back up. Exhale, twist over to the left. So just building a little bit more movement in the spine, reach all the way up. And then walk your hands forward. You can come off that pillow or that block and meet me in tabletop pose, hands and knees. I just realized that I think my cat has gone into the closet, so I'm gonna let him out. Yep, there he is. And so once we are in hands and knees, start to take any movement that you need here. So it might start with lateral movement, side to side. So thinking of that C curve shape. Maybe it's cat-cow. Maybe it's both, and you almost create a little bit of a circular movement in both directions. And I want you to just become aware, right? So again, letting this practice be just a shift into a little more awareness. And maybe you find a spot where you're like, oh, wow, I'm holding a little bit of tension there. Maybe you pause and send a little bit of breath there. Spend a little more time there. And just take note. It's like you're taking inventory as you start to move and breathe a little bit more. So nice. And then start to walk your hands up your legs. You'll rise up onto your knees here. And like you did before, sweep the arms out and up overhead. Take a breath in, interlace the fingers overhead. And then flip your palms up, look up, big breath in. Now keep the clasp of your fingers. Palms will go forward like before. And then start to drop your chin to your chest and almost round your upper back a little more by like pressing your palms forward. So you get a different sort of stretch in your upper back. Now reach the arms back up and overhead. Step your right foot forward, finding a lunge. Keep that clasp if it feels good. And then just lean over to the right. Pressing down through your front big toe to keep a little more balance, grounding, and then rise up. Left hand will go forward and your right hand goes behind you, just an open arm twist to your degree. Awesome, and then reach the hands back up overhead. Bring the hands down inside your foot to the ground or to a block, whatever feels better for you. Take a breath in just to rock your hips slightly forward. So you're in this lunge. And then as you exhale, pull your hips back enough to pick your right toes up off the ground. Doesn't have to be the super fancy thing, just a different sort of stretch in the back of the right leg. Now come back forward. Start to tuck your back toes and lift your back knee up. Start to look over to the left and find a wide leg forward fold. So you'll parallel your feet, soften through the knees, and then let the head drop. So you can shake your head, yes, no. Now, if your hands are like, you're really feeling tight in the back of your legs, your hands might want to come to a block here to lessen that load on the hamstrings. Stay here, just a round of breath in and out. Again, let the back of the neck be long. So nice. And then you'll walk your hands back to the front of your mat to frame your right foot. And start to drop your left knee back down. Reach your hands all the way up. Big breath in. Your right knee comes to meet the left. Again, interlace your fingers overhead. Flip your palms up. Look up. And as you exhale, send the palms forward. Drop your chin to your chest. And press your palms away from your chest here, like you were pressing a wall in front of you. Now reach them back up. Step your left foot forward. Keep that clasp of the hands. Lean over to the left. So nice. And then rising back up. Bring your hands down inside your left foot. Now it might be helpful to wiggle walk that left foot a little bit further out to the left. It creates a little more space in the pelvis and the hips, and then you'll shift forward. And then exhale to bring the hips back, pick the left toes up. A little bit of a stretch here, and then rock back forward. Tuck your back toes, lift the back knee up, look over to the right. You'll parallel your feet and find that wide leg forward fold. So all 10 toes facing the long edge of your mat, drop your head. Maybe shake your head, yes. No. Open and close your mouth a few times to soften the jaw. And look to your left foot. You'll frame it with your hands again, coming back to a lunge. Drop your right knee, reach arms up and overhead. One last breath in here. And then left knee comes to meet the right. Bring your hands down back to tabletop. Now together, lift your heart, take a breath in, find cow pose. And exhale, press into your hands, round your back and drop your head, cat pose. Now I want you to stay rounded here. So stay in cat, but think about sending your seat a little bit closer towards your heels, almost like you were pulling back to child's pose, but you stay rounded in your upper back. And then just take inventory here. So maybe you, like, this is like the sweet spot you've been looking for, like to stretch in between your shoulder blades. Awesome. Maybe you stay rounded, but walk your hands over a little bit more to the right or over to the left. Just taking inventory again. And then come back to center, shift back forward, tabletop pose. Now send your right leg behind you about hip height. Let it float. And then bend your knee 90 degrees. Press the sole of your right foot up just a little bit higher. And then as you exhale, bring your right knee towards your chest. Like, of course they won't meet, right? But you'll start to round slightly in the upper back and maybe look down towards your right knee. And then do that one more time. Kick it up and back with a bent knee. As you exhale, draw it in. So you're just like contracting inward. Now send the right leg straight back, like where you started. Tuck the right toes onto the ground, but at the back left corner of your mat. And then press back through the right heel. Get that stretch in the leg. Now lift the right leg up again. Step your right foot outside your right hand. So you can like wiggle walk it there. You land in that lunge one more time. Now tuck your back toes and lift your left knee up. This time, spin your back heel down, rise up to warrior two. So your right knee stays bent, the arms go nice and long. Use your next breath in to reverse warrior. So right hand will rise, maybe look up to your right fingertips. As you exhale, extended side angle, forearm to your thigh, left arm maybe alongside your ear. And just take One more big breath in to get really long through the left side. Back to warrior two. Now straighten the legs, parallel the feet again like before. Reach the hands up and overhead. Big breath in. And then as you exhale, fold forward. Now we're not here as long. I just want you to find that forward fold on the breath out. Take a halfway lift. Reach your heart forward so your chest is parallel to the earth. Start to bend through your left knee, finding just a side lunge here. So your right leg stays long, your left knee bends. Excellent. Now look to the front of your mat. We're going to find a high lunge. So you'll frame your right foot just for a moment. Let the back heel lift up. Soften that left knee enough to then lift your hands up and rise. Reach them up to the sky. And then start to bend your elbows like goalposts. So take a breath in and start to send your forearms, your elbows slightly back, your chest forward. And then as you exhale, forearms, elbows come together in front of your face. You slightly round in here. Do that one more time. Inhale, open up. And then exhale, draw it in. Now, as you inhale, reach your hands up and overhead. As you exhale, step your left foot to meet the right. Arms down along your sides or hands at your heart. Finding this Tadasana shape, mountain pose. Nice place to just like come to 2 feet, of course. And then maybe even pick up your toes, all 10 of them, spread them apart. And then replace them with awareness back onto your mat. Take a full breath in all the way to the top. Open up your mouth. Slow exhale out. So nice. Use your next breath in to stand up even taller. Arms will rise overhead. And then as you exhale, softly bend the knees, but fold forward here. You get to drop your head. And take an inhale, hands to your shins. Heart goes forward. And as you exhale, step the left foot back, big step. Drop the left knee down, reach arms up and overhead as you inhale, right? And then right knee comes to meet the left. Now this time, hook the thumbs overhead, elbows go wide, and then lift your heart a little higher here, a little bit, gentle back bend. And then walk your hands back to tabletop pose. Spread the fingers nice and wide. Find that firm base underneath you. Use your next breath in to lift your chest, lift your tailbone, lift your chin, cow. And then exhale to round into cat. Stay rounded like before. And then lean your seat back a little bit closer towards your heels. You can walk your hands over to the left if you want. And then back through center, maybe over to the right. And then back through center, come to neutral tabletop pose. And now it's the left leg that goes behind you. Let it float, hip height. And maybe even bend the knee 90 degrees. Take a breath in, press the sole or your heel of your foot up. And as you exhale, knee towards your chest, just like thinking about curling in to your degree, of course. Drop your head. Inhale up and back. Exhale, draws it in. Inhale, send your left leg back. Tuck the left toes under on the back right corner of your mat. Now you get to press back through the heel and also lessen that load in the wrists. Now pick that left leg up. Step the left foot outside the left hand. You can wiggle walk it to that position. And then once you're there, maybe even your hands come up to a block for support, of course, if you need it. Tuck the back toes, lift the knee up, and you'll spin the back heel down to then rise up to warrior two. Arms nice and long. Your next breath into reverse, reach the left hand high. And your exhale, find side angle, forearm to your thigh.
Stay here. Take one more breath in. Think about lengthening from your back foot out through your right fingertips, back to warrior two. Inhale, straighten the legs, reach arms overhead, parallel the feet. And then a big exhale, let it feel good. Fold forward, drop your head down. And then just an inhale here to send your heart forward. Maybe hands come to that block for support. Finding that halfway lift in the torso, bend your right knee, side lunge. So nice. Take one more inhale right here. You'll look to the front. Maybe take that block with you if you want. You're going to frame your left foot, finding the low lunge first. Now soften the back knee. Float the hands. Reach them up and overhead. Now, it's not about how straight your back leg can be. Actually, I'd rather you soften the knee even more for support. So you have that firm ground underneath you. Bend the elbows nice and wide. Take a breath in, send the forearms, send the elbows behind you. Breathe and open the chest. And then exhale, bring them together in front of your face, slightly round in. You just have one more. Inhale, open up. Exhale, draw in. Now this time, keep palms together. Step right foot to the top of your mat. Hands can come either to your heart or then down along your sides. Palms facing forward. Take a big inhale in mountain pose. Open your mouth. Slow exhale out. Let's do that one more time. Breathe all the way in and out. And take inventory here. So maybe even one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart, or both hands to your heart. Close your eyes. Your last moment here on 2 feet standing while on your mat, but come back to that awareness of your breath. Sometimes it's helpful to move things around and then pause and just notice. You might even notice your heartbeat as well. Something that like anchors you right into this moment. A breath in, a breath out. Stay here, of course, as long as you need. But whenever you're ready, open the eyes. Reach the hands up and overhead one last time. Just stretch up, look up, get a little taller. And softly bend the knees, fold forward, hinge at the hips. Take your halfway lift here, hands to your shins, heart forward, chest broadens. And then your hands go down, step the right foot back and drop the right knee. Reach arms up and overhead. It's your left knee that comes to meet the right. Last time to hook the thumbs, elbows wide, chest rises, chin rises. And then release, walk the hands, tabletop pose. One more round of cat-cow. Take a breath in, let the belly drop down. And exhale, press into your hands, round your back, drop your head. And then meet me in a seat. So just swing your legs around in front of you. Give them a little bit of a shake. Take the soles of your feet together and your knees out wide. And just hold on to either your ankles, your shins, but take a breath in to sit up nice and tall here. Think about the top of your head rising. And then as you exhale, tip forward. And whenever you're ready, maybe chin to your chest. So feel that line of your spine from your tailbone to the base of your head, the top of your neck. Round forward as you breathe in and out. And you'll start to sit back up. Keep your left knee bent and just extend your right leg nice and long. So you'll then bring the sole of your foot to your inner right leg here and just reach your hands up and overhead. Big breath in. Start to turn your chest slightly over towards the left a little, so then you can just lean over to the right. Now, of course, you can drop that left hand down or bring it to your left knee, to your thigh. But the idea is you're just leaning or tipping over towards your right toes. You can bring your forearm down. Maybe you bring it to a block inside the foot. Just a nice place to be. You can even bring your elbow to that block and hold your head with your right hand. Sometimes that feels nice. But you make it work for you. So whatever your body is craving, take that inventory again. Become aware. And then find 3 big breaths. And for your last round, if that top arm really wants to reach, almost like it did in side angle, right? You're in a similar shape, just on the earth. And you'll slowly come back up, arms out like a T for a moment. You'll drop your left hand down behind your left hip or behind your seat. And you'll start to shift your weight onto that left knee, but keep your right leg long. Press down through your foot and just reach your right hand towards the back of your mat, like away from your right foot. Just one more side body length here in this way. And then you'll sit back down on your seat. And then you'll switch sides. So right knee bends, left leg goes long, sole of the foot lands where it wants to land. Maybe you bring that block inside your foot as a little support for that left forearm. But first, reach your hands up. Turn your torso towards the right. And then lean over towards your left toes. And your forearm can land either on your shin, on a block, your top arm, wherever it wants to be. Take it. And then close your eyes gently or soften the gaze to lessen the distraction. 3 big breaths. Maybe for the last inhale, you reach right arm alongside your ear. And then you'll rise up. Right hand comes behind you. You'll shift the weight into that right knee and then reach your left hand back. So it's like a reverse gate or a modified side plank here. So nice. And then come back to center. Now we get to get ourselves nice and comfy and set up for our few final shapes. So make sure you have enough space behind you. If you know you want a pillow close by for either underneath your knees or underneath your hips or your tailbone, grab that. And then once you have enough space behind you, you'll just slowly make your way onto your back here. If you want one long body stretch here, arms overhead, toes point forward. And then take your arms down along your sides. So one more active pose here. Spread your fingers apart. So your palms are pressing down, and then bend your knees, plant your feet hips width distance apart. And so you can't see your toes, but make sure they're pointing straight forward. Press down through your feet and then lift your hips up to your degree. It doesn't have to be the highest point. just to find a little bit more strength in the back of the legs, especially after all of that forward folding, all of that lengthening. Can you find the strength there? Take one more breath in. Awesome. And then slowly release down and heel toe your feet a little wider apart. Bring your knees together, that active rest. Either hands to your belly or arms down along your sides. Close your eyes. Revisit your breath. Notice it yet again. Take one more round together here. Inhale through your nose. Open up your mouth. And then gently just split the knees a little bit further apart and let both of them fall over to the right. Just a gentle twist here. If you want to bring your arms to goalpost arms, sometimes that feels nice to keep the chest open. And you'll bring yourself back through center. Let both knees fall over to the left. And come back through center. If you'd like to hug your knees in towards your chest, it might feel really nice. Maybe a little rock. Take one more breath in. And then find your Shavasana, your resting pose. So if you want that pillow, even if you want it underneath your head, you can prop it there, under your knees, under the back of your legs to feel your low back lengthen. Take the time to set it up. And then give yourself permission, just in case if you needed it, give yourself permission to rest, to relax, to pause. See if you can still keep your awareness within the four corners of your mat. So acknowledging the sounds that you hear. Just observing rather than reacting. Using your breath as an anchor or something to come back to. If you notice your mind drifts away, And take just a little bit bigger of a breath in your next inhale. Let the lips part and a slow exhale out. And start to find a little bit more movement in the toes and the fingers. Maybe the features of your face. And start to bend your knees. And in your own time, you'll just roll to the side. Maybe pause there. And you'll press yourself up, finding a seat. Once you're there, you can bring your hands together in front of your heart if that feels good. Taking a moment just to honor yourself for showing up, for creating space in your day, to find a little more space or create space in your body, maybe even in between your thoughts. Take a breath in. Again, open your mouth, maybe a big sigh out. And you can take your thumb tips to the center of your forehead, maybe even lift your chin, lift your face. Letting this practice be, of course, a time where you create a little more awareness, but also to create a little more kindness towards yourself. So you can then share it out in your own way with others. Namaste.